Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 19th of January episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream. I'm just pouring myself a little scotchy poo for a little later. Gonna let that breathe a bit as we chit chat the night away. Here we got, there's a couple of people hanging out. Johnny said hi, but I think he's probably gone back to work. He usually checks in again the next day. So if it is tomorrow, hi Johnny. Thanks for hanging out with us. I hope everyone's having a good January so far. Martin's here. Nice to see you. I almost popped my computer right off its table. That would have been really embarrassing. Would have made for a very short live stream as well. I've wasted a couple of weekends now trying to get this damn computer, this Hackintosh, to be running the Mac OS again, and it's just getting depressing at this point, guys. Just getting depressing. Tonight's beer is by Alchemist. It's a red. Hey, Russell. How's it going? I like to get my wood stove red hot, then pee on it, he says. That's a remarkably Russell statement to make. I haven't even known you that long, but I got your number. Hey, Simon. Nice to see you. Not buried under work for once. Did you get that PC all built up and set up? Let's see if I can make this. Nope. Look at that. Sam's just probably watching us in spirit. Oh well. Hey, IRC. How's it going on the rock? For the sizzle, he says. Okay. Audio is mono. Okay. Nothing I can do about it now. Let me just check my settings. I'm not going to worry about that. If there was no audio, that would worry me, but mono, I don't care. I'm old enough that I remember mono records. Albums, we call them. Hike with Mike is with us. How's it going? I missed Canoe Hound's live stream again tonight. Trying to get the baby to bed. Sean in Alaska. Hey, Sean, I tried to send you a CD, but I have to print out the labels from home now when it's international. So I will do that, and I'll try again this at some point this week. I don't know. So yeah, how's everyone's? There's Mallory. Mallory, who I hope is feeling better on this day of days. I hope everyone's having a good January aside from Mallory. Hey, Mark. Happy Tuesday. Sean, exactly the same as with what I sent to Mallory. I forgot to put a note in, so you're just going to get an envelope with a CD in it. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. But there we go. Let's give this beer a try before we go too much further. As I said, it's by Alchemist, which is local or local-ish. Where are you based? Where's you based? Joliet. So it's local. It's okay. There's like a little sweetness going on. It's a little thinner than I was expecting. I like a red to have a nice sort of, mouthfeel and everything, but what happens? So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mallory injured herself, and so she's slowing down a bit. So she may not be as active tonight as we would have liked. However, if she does decide to be active for any bloody reason, or anyone else does, I will just do that. Hey, Jackie. Man, Jackie, you haven't been to one of the live streams in a long time. How's it going? How are the adventure kiddos? What I was gonna talk about tonight is a couple of things. First, I wanted to mention to everyone who's hanging out that on my other channel, I'm going to be hosting a whiskey tasting live stream. I put up a video about it, which I was going to put below here, but I ran out of time. So maybe I'll put it in the side chat or something. Excuse me. So anyone who wants to participate in that, it'd be kind of cool. And another thing I was thinking about was for my own channel, I think I have a way to start getting, you know how I keep whinging about, COVID, I can't go to the woods and do content. Mallory gave me a good idea based on the book that I sent her, and I think it might be cool. So what do you guys think? Start doing a series of short videos on like skills in those books. The book that I sent her, well, anyone who watched my 2,500 subs video will know that it was the Essayist Survival Guide. Maybe pick something like that, or Bushcraft 101 or something, and just start picking a few little skills dev things and doing short videos on that. Obviously not as an expert, but more as, okay, here's in the book, I'm going to try and do it on screen. I think I don't know. I think that might be kind of cool, and it might be a way for me to actually get some content going, which would also be cool. Because I got to stop tail spinning. I got to stop just getting more and more depressed because of COVID. I got to do something. I got to be a lot more proactive. So that's the idea that I've come up with, and I'm just going to get you guys the link for the whiskey tasting announcement video. For anyone, I'm not trying to push this on you guys, right? But I do know that some of you are interested in such things. So for those of you who are, boom. Right? Did that? No? Oh man, I'll tell you something for free, man. Windows confuses me endlessly. There we go. There we go. Hey, Ethan's here. Nice to see you. Who else? Foxit. We got Colin in the house. Nice. I already said hi to Sean in Alaska. Simo thinks that we're going to get hammered on the live stream. That's not what we're going to do. Oh, IRC, I saw the news about that woman here who walked her husband on a leash to get around the couvre-feu. How come I keep forgetting that word? Curfew. Which did not work, by the way, so don't try it, guys. Cliff, it's going. Also, I'm trying to figure out how to. I think Camille's kind of irritated that she hasn't been in a video in a long time, so I might find like a couple little skills videos to do with her as well. It's funny because like Mal and I talked about that idea last night. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that, and then like today it got really, really cold, so I didn't I didn't do it today, that's for sure. But I'm gonna look through the book and find something to start with. Yeah, this is what IRC was commenting on. Russell, your lives are, geez, you know, I've only seen a couple of your lives because of the timing, but aren't you usually just drinking beer? Or is that, no, that's Mallory. Mallory's always drinking beer. Always, always. He said, with a pint of beer in his hands. So let me pour this. someone, I think it was Bettina, dropped me a note in the gift in the drawing announcement video that someone had thumbsed it down, and I sort of said, yeah, it's probably probably Mallory who did that just to be a brat. She thumbs down her own. She says that the StreamYard link does not work. So let me try that one more timeage. Try that. Russell never drinks alcohol. Then what the hell? What the hell? Jackie, yeah, you guys aren't doing the curfew. Looks like Ontario went for the state of emergency thing instead. Look, I don't believe that our government knows what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you. But I'm starting to get the feeling that neither does yours, and really, neither does the government in Alberta. Mallory, let me know if that link works. I've been trying to figure out how to, like, we don't have enough snow to build, what's that shelter called when you, is it a Quincy? You know, you build a great big lump of snow and you put in the sticks so that you can measure the width or whatever, and then you dig out the middle. Is that what it's called? Quincy, yes, it is called a Quincy. I think it was, who the hell was I talking to about this? Mal, was it you? And I said that the idea of sleeping in a Quincy freaks me all the way out because I'm claustrophobic as hell. Was that you, Mel? Or was it Martin? Was I talking to you about that? I don't know. Hike with Mike says that he went camping with his buds last week and it went down to the 30s in degrees freedom. The swamp cumper made wassail, not sure how to spell it, but it's warm spice. Oh, wassail. Yeah, nice. Yeah. IRC brings the Newfoundland to the conversation. We call it a hole in a snowbank. All right. Ethan, we don't really have enough snow to do that yet either, but I'm sort of planning for videos that I can just do in my backyard, and at some point we will have enough snow to build something like that. The kids built a fort. That's something, right? Yeah, I like what Martin says here because, man, just the idea of it. I have this weird thing where, like, something will pop into my mind, and like the feeling of claustrophobia that it gives me is so bad that like I have to stand up and move around. There was something I read like years ago about a swimming pool, like a public pool, where a small child got, you know how a pool has like a vent where the water goes shooting in so it can be recycled, and this child had gotten sucked in and was gone and drowned, obviously, and it took them hours to get her out because they needed one of those big those tractors, you know, pip-ins with the big thing on there that breaks up concrete, and they needed to break up the concrete to get to her. And first of all, what a freaking way to go. I hope to hell it was instantaneous. And it's just like the idea of it gives me anxiety. Just the idea that, like, I get the same thing when I think about people who go spelunking and sort of crawl through these really, really thin. I'm freaking myself out here. It just drives me nuts. Hold on a second. You got so wet making a Quincy. Good to know. Jackie, I have no idea what that means. Used to do a lot of cave exploring when I was younger, but as I get older, I've gotten more claustrophobic. Wow, if it increases as you get older, I am doomed. Yeah, Ethan's with me on that one. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I wasn't the only one to see it. Yeah, it was just I remember reading it and getting this horrible feeling creeping up my back. Hmm. Okay, I get it. Jackie wants me to stop talking about it. Yeah. Oh, Russell, I would I even want to hear these stories? Martin, that doesn't surprise me. I feel that I've only ever been inside an igloo once, and it didn't seem confining at all. It was nice and open in there. I don't know if they're built in varying sizes or what, but it was nice, and it was a little like it's weird how it's a couple of degrees warmer in there than it is outside when you've got that little what is it a seal fat candle or something, whatever it's called. I'm evidently not great with the terms tonight here, folks. Sorry about that. Simone would rather go for the Quincy. I would not. Russell, how's it going?
All right.
Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Hey, I wonder if my headphones are working. Can anyone hear Russell?
Yep, I heard him.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so I'm the one who can't hear anything.
Valerie, you can hear me?
All right, let me just check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Where I went wrong here.
I'm trying to use my iPad mini for the first time.
Oh, so you're not on your mic setup and everything.
It's weird. Yeah. Do I sound stupid?
So, in the book that you sent me, there's one thing that keeps on popping. I open up the book, and it always comes up, and it says seagulls can be caught by wrapping food around a stone and throwing it in the air. The gull swallows the bait while still on the wing, gulping down the stone with it. So it just completely weights him down, and I thought that was so funny. Why do I keep popping up on that page? I don't know.
I once saw a seagull eat a starfish. Starfish was like this big and just kept working and working and working until it disappeared.
My gosh.
Well, it's nice to be able to hear you guys. Because, you know, I realized that I think I was talking through that mic instead of this one. And I couldn't hear anything because I'd forgotten to plug in my sound box. Because cool. Of course I did, because that's just the kind of, you know, highly professional live streamer I am. Russell, what are you doing?
Trying to switch his screen around.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just do this then.
Hi, everybody in the chat.
I'm trying to figure out things.
Let me just.
I'm using my iPad mini a lot because I'm trying to conserve power.
Look at that fabulous book.
It's awesome. Book, right? It's really awesome.
Yeah. I had 2 copies of it, and so I figured one had to go to someone who would appreciate it.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay, bye. What?
He's having a hard time with his stuff.
Okay. Let me just see. IRC says, I lit a fire in an igloo because I was cold, and in the morning it was even colder. I wonder why. Pine says, they vary in size, but they have a high vaulting ceiling, which is, and they are bright inside.
Yeah, it is bright inside of Quincy. Yeah.
But yeah, so I would definitely rather try an igloo. Probably a whole lot harder to build, though.
But if you do the Quincy, you can open up a secondary door. So you don't have to feel like, you know, there's only one way out. You can also build another door on it.
Yeah.
As long as, like, on the outside of it, you build a wall so that you're protected by the wind.
Right.
You know, it works just fine. That might be a solution for you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, I have to get enough snow in that backyard to even try, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way this was just going so far, that's not a given.
There's not a lot of snow this year, even for our place. I mean, we got maybe like 6 inches more this weekend, but it's really not as much as the other years in the past.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Jackie says she'd like to try sleeping in a Quincy. She's helped build them for scouts, but never slept in one. But she's kept watch outside, I guess. Yeah, I've never even built one. Never even. So is Russell coming back or what?
I don't know. But there was one thing in here that I was like, man, I would really love to see you do. But I'd love to see you build a gill net. That's for sure. That's an awesome skill to have.
Yeah.
But this one it's challenging, but I think that it looks really cool, and I've never seen one done before. A bow trap.
Oh yeah. I've never built this. Hi, Russell.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. Bear in mind, I couldn't hear before because I had not plugged in my music box, so that was my fault.
Because my voice is so musical, you can't hear me unless you have your music box plugged in. I need to drink more gin.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I got to tell you my caving story though.
Is this gonna freak me out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Hold on, I got to fix my hair first. I don't know.
Gotta fix his bangs.
Yeah, my Mallory.
Bangless.
Bangless.
Damn it, Mal. We're just supposed to get him some bangs.
Bang with Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds awful. Anyway, we were in Tennessee on a hang gliding trip. In Tennessee, there's caves down there, and the caves are freaking huge. We went in this one, and it's like an hour and a half of crawling through this cave, and then you get to this room, and there's a guest book where you can sign your name. Incredibly huge. But there's this one spot that was like about 6 feet wide and about this tall, where to get through, you had to turn your head sideways to get through. And that's when you start thinking, well, geez, how much rock is above me?
Yeah, no way. No.
About half a kilometer of rock was above me at that point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, can't do it. No way.
I got pictures.
I don't want to see
freak out. I think I'd be like, okay, how do I turn around in here? Like, how do can I get back out?
Yeah, I just
some of those little spots you got to keep going, and then once you get to an area, you can turn around and come back, but you can't go back otherwise.
Yeah.
Man, I was listening to the CBC a long time ago. I think it was Quirks and Quarks or something, and he was interviewing a spelunker who takes scientists down into some cave that's special for some reason, and she was describing a point where they were coming out of the cave because they were running out of oxygen, and the scientist in front of her felt that she'd gotten lost and started to panic, but they were in one of those really enclosed spots, so they couldn't turn, they couldn't move, and she couldn't get out of the cave unless the scientist did. And I was just like listening, and I was climbing up on the couch, and you do that sort of trying to get all like fetal, but you're on your feet, so you can't do it. I was crawling up the back of the couch. I finally had to turn the radio off because I was just, oh my God. So yeah, that's I'm brave. Yeah.
I'm brave.
Oh yeah, oh man.
You know what? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that absolutely.
A smoke teepee. That's what I was talking to you about yesterday.
Yeah. I don't. The thing is, if I'm caught burning wood in my backyard, I'm gonna get a fine.
Yeah.
I can make a. I did want to because we're talking about enclosed spaces and snow shelters and stuff. Pine Martin was mentioning. I don't know how many of you guys saw this story, but it was pretty cool. He says, speaking of snow shelters, a 17-year-old young man who was stranded in the BC woods made it through a cold night by carving a snow cave and staying inside until rescue arrived the next day. I believe was he trapped by an avalanche or something, Martin? Do you remember? Like somehow something went south and he couldn't get out of the area. So he just carved himself a little shelter in the deep snow and waited till the next day, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, the military. I think Ben was telling me about that last year when we built our big family-size Quincy. He was saying that in the army, they didn't really build Quincy's at all. They just build this one-man sort of hut.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a hole in the snow.
Yeah. I remember in cadets, we didn't build those. Like in the winter, we just used those big Canadian Forces Arctic tents, right? 8
Yeah.
kids to a tent or whatever, 10 or whatever it was. But I remember in the summer, we all had to build ourselves these little lean-tos. You know?
Yeah.
You know, the little sort of put a branch between two trees and then lean a bunch.
Yeah.
You probably did the same thing, Mel.
Yeah, we did those. And well, we did Quincy's, so we did full-blown Quincy's too. But we did have those big tents. But Ben just looked at me and he said, "Yeah, we never really did those holes in the snow either. We just did tents, or just slept in trucks, which they stopped doing that."
Right.
Which he explains in the Quincy video that we made.
Okay. Hike with Mike says, we have a lot of underwater caves in Florida. Several divers get lost in them every year and drown. We had a death on Christmas Day last month.
Oh, that's so sad.
But Mel, yeah. What, dying on Christmas Day? Yeah, I consider that a party pooped.
No, party pooper, Mike.
Yeah.
Party pooper.
Party pooper. Jackie says she wants to build a smoke teepee when she gets back to her fire pit. Mal.
Yes.
So maybe Jackie and I each have to build one and do videos about it.
Or come here and build one and we'll smoke meat all day.
Yeah.
Just is like someplace you can go nearby where you can make fires and stuff? Have we talked about this? I think we've.
I can go to my mother-in-law's place. It's just I have to be back in time for curfew, right? Or I'm stuck out there. And because she's it's awkward in this province right now. Right? Like there's legality around people going to each other's houses and stuff. So
yeah, we can get fined.
Yeah. And the fines, by the way, are big. And I just got a fine today.
Really?
Because I blew a stop sign in a school zone.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. Bummer.
Everybody, look, 48 and finally got his first traffic ticket.
And what's that icicle incident that I saw?
Oh, does that show?
No, but I saw your Facebook post.
Yeah. You see that red dot there?
Yeah.
That's what I was showing on the Facebook. Okay, so this is ridiculous. So we had all these huge icicles next to the back door, and Camille said, "Okay, I want that one. So can you just make sure?" She had this big sort of stick. She's gonna bop it off, and I'm supposed to catch it. So I go, "Okay, I got it." And she accidentally bopped off the one next to it, which came in and went bang, and it was like this long.
Oh.
And it felt like I was getting, like spearfished.
You're getting impaled.
Oh, Christ.
Oh my gosh.
It felt like you were getting spearfished.
I was like,
how would we know what that's like?
I don't know. I'm just.
How many times have you been spearfished?
Just go with me on this one. I was like, just go with me on it. Anyway, so Kim was like, "I'm sorry, Daddy." I was like, "No, it's not your fault." Oh my God, it hurts, but it's not your fault. I'm gonna go inside now. Okay, Daddy. All right. Okay, bye. I went in, set the table for supper. I was like, "Oh my God!" I mean, it's an ice pick, icicle, but it was a big one and a heavy one, and they do kind of come to a really pointy. So Hike is Hike is just bringing up the stories, eh? Saddest story I heard was a teenager got lost diving in an underwater cave. He knew he was lost and would not make it out. He carved "I love you, Mom" on his tank before dying.
Aww.
Oh man.
Aww.
Yikes.
Mike, I want to have a party and invite Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, ready?
Hire him as the official storyteller. There was this other death
He's got
this
so
time.
many stories, but he needs to pop up here one day.
Yeah, he's shy about appearing on screen because even in his own channel, he's almost never on screen. By the way, for those of you who don't check out Hike with Mike's channel, I think you should. It's like good vibe, good sort of relaxing,
Jess, I don't even watch your channel, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why can't you do a fire in your backyard?
Oh, because in Montreal, you're not allowed to burn solids unless it's like a pellet stove. Like you can't have a backyard fire pit or anything like that because of the
But you
particulate matter.
but you can cook stuff, right?
Well, I break the rule all the time because I'm dedicated to charcoal barbecues rather than gas.
Yeah.
And I have understanding neighbors, I guess, because I haven't gotten in trouble yet.
You
Okay.
can't even have a charcoal barbecue?
Gray area. I haven't been in trouble yet. So
Well,
I choose to assume that it's legal.
that doesn't seem to be a gray. It's going to be one side or the other. That can't be gray.
I can't be arsed to look it up.
Well, I mean, you can buy charcoal in stores, right? So,
You can also still buy fireplaces, but you're not allowed to put them in Montreal.
Oh, really?
I asked someone that at Renault. I was like, not fireplaces, the metal things, stoves.
Oh, yeah,
Wood-burning
from
stoves?
outside?
No, like you can buy them. But I said, so why can I buy them? And she said, well, because if you have a country house,
Yeah.
you can take it up there. I'm like, but why wouldn't I just buy it out there? And she said, I'm just here to help you shop, sir. To which I said, well, okay.
well,
Okay.
the reason I ask is because I know one guy who says he can't have fires in his backyard, but he can cook food in his backyard. So that's how he gets around it. He just says, I'm cooking food. But
There you go.
Mhm.
I'm building a fire to cook food. There you go.
but here's a stranger one, similar to the story you're just telling, Jess. Is I was looking at when I had my previous ATV. It's a single seater,
Yeah.
but you can buy a seat that you can put on the back.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
But it's illegal to
Yeah.
actually ride two people if the bike was not meant for two people, if the second seat wasn't built in.
Yep.
So I went and I was shopping and I saw this second seat and I said, well, how can you sell this? Because it's, for a bike, a single seater bike, because it's illegal to do that. And she's like, well, what the seat is for is if you are on a trail and you want to rest, and so you can sit in the back seat instead of.
Or
like, really?
or if you're like me and you just ride on 200 acres and you're not really going on the road, I mean, that's legal. We can do what we want on our property.
Can you?
Yeah, you just can't go on the road with it.
So it's not road legal, street legal.
Yeah. So like I don't think I'm technically I could go out on my snow machine without a helmet, but if you go on the road you need a helmet.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can go on my own property without a helmet.
Yeah. So gray areas,
Good old gray areas. We depend on them, don't we?
We're like 4 people on a snow machine.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Sean in Alaska says, you mentioned getting a fine for a fire in the backyard. Years ago, I was smoking meat in my yard in the mountains and a forest fire. A spotting plane kept circling my house. That's the kind of thing that I've never experienced living here rather than Alaska. That sounds great. That's the kind of story that you just,
Oh, I get that too.
Do you?
Yeah.
I had a Ralphie from A Christmas Story moment. I do not know the...
You'll put your eye out, kid. He wanted a BB gun?
All right. Whew.
I don't know what that's in reference to, though.
Jackie says, a fireplace thing is same here, too. You can buy whatever you want, but you can't use them here. Grr. Yeah, it's because people... they can buy their stuff, I guess, at the local Renault because they know what the or Rona or whatever the one with the orange sign is called, and just like if they're redoing their country house or they've just bought a country house, they can just bring the stuff up there or something. Like when we bought this place, man, what I wanted to do was stick a wood burning stove in the corner of the garage and turn it into a workshop.
Yeah.
And just like the idea of going in there in the morning, striking up a fire, putting a kettle on top or something, and then getting set up to do some woodworking. Man, I tell you what. But yeah, can't do it. Not allowed.
You can't have wood stoves in the city?
Only a pellet stove. It's a 3-phase ban, and we're in phase 2 right now. So, like pre-existing fireplaces and stoves are okay for now, but they're also on the way out. I don't remember when it's going to be.
Yeah, for like new constructions and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. At first, it was new constructions, no, and then
Is that a climate change rule then?
no, it's the fine particulate matter from the chimneys. It causes problems for like asthmatic kids and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's for the pollution of the air in the big city. It's already polluted enough as it is.
Yeah. So in neighborhoods with a lot of fireplaces, it can cause breathing issues and stuff.
Yeah. And then you come out to the country and we're all on on wood.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's
I
beautiful
couldn't
thing about
imagine
living out
living
there.
in Montreal and having to go get my firewood though. It would cost so much money.
Yeah. At the Rona at the bottom of the street, like a little boîte like this.
Yeah.
A little boîte. Right.
The
little
bag,
box like this. No, it's like a wooden box that's about yay by yay by yay. It's about $160.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Of wood?
But like I don't yeah, exactly, right? But I don't even know why they're selling the wood. Well, yes, I do know why, because there are people who are still grandfathered in for now with
But
their fireplaces and everything.
But there are people with campsites too, that they'll just like, okay, I'm gonna buy a bag of wood. But over here I think it's like $12 for
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way I would buy my wood here, throw it in the back of my car, spend the extra gas because of the extra weight, when I can probably buy it a whole lot cheaper out in the sticks somewhere.
Shoot. Wait, where's Jackie at?
Jackie's somewhere in southern Ontario, I believe Toronto or Toronto adjacent.
Okay.
But yeah, hey, Dauber's here. Oh, hey, Dauber.
Yeah, 22 people watching.
How many thumbs up did I get?
13.
IRC says, how many?
13.
So some people are slacking. IRC says, down here we ride 5 or 6 on a one-seater. If someone mentions they're going up the country for a cook-up in their ATV, I love it. Newfoundland and Labrador, home of the brave. What is that thing, Mallory? Was that one of those light-up signs?
Yeah. I'm just trying not to move too much.
Yeah, obviously.
It's a unicorn.
I was thinking of getting one of those light up signs just to sort of have in the here,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't know what message I want on it.
Mm.
Mallory, you know what goes great with muscle relaxants?
What?
Bangs.
Booze.
Oh, booze. Yeah, that goes really well.
You got some you're drinking the thing?
It looks like you're on both right now.
Are you you got that thing, that boozy?
No,
that thing
I didn't take the muscle relaxant yet. Actually, I'm
only on my second beer. Okay,
I'm gonna take it like maybe in a few minutes actually, because I don't want to take it too late, because I took it too late yesterday when I was talking to Jesse. It was a little bit late, and I had a hard time waking up this morning.
Right.
So. And tomorrow I have a day off with the kids tomorrow. Ariel has school, and Jude is going to have a play date with like this what's it called? It's like a daycare, but like for parents that are at home full time with kids. It's a répit. So it's like a break from the kids. So it's nice. It's $5 a day. They give the lunch and everything, so I don't have to do anything. I just have to bring her there.
Bring her there, drop her there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a service that our city gives us. City. I can call it a village.
Your city. You live in the big city.
Yeah, 800 people. Big city.
Yeah. It's pretty big. In Montreal, there are high schools bigger than that.
I know. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Ike says down where he is, it's $5 a bundle for firewood. I wonder how big that Oh, Dauber says we need a live stream broadcast from the workshop for posterity's sake. I agree. It's just right now it's a massive mess. What I would like to do is move into the workshop permanently, but I have to make the workshop nicer before I can do that.
Yeah, tell me about it. I wish I could make this place nicer. That's why it's so dark, so you guys don't see the mess in back of me.
Well,
I get a pretty good going here too.
Yeah, as do I. So, but hey, one day that that room behind there is going to be finished, and everything here will be more organized.
I love to play the one day game.
Yeah, I play it all the time. It's my favorite game.
So many things will get done one day.
I like to play wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if...
Wouldn't it be fun? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always... And then Ben's like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. One day I'm going to win 30 million. And then I'll just become a full-time YouTuber.
I love that retirement plan.
Yeah,
that's my favorite too.
Yeah, I got to get on it, though. I got to get on it.
Now there you go. Simon got the bylaws for the Montreal wood burning.
Yeah, for anyone who is really interested, you can check it out. You know, it's funny because I'm of two minds about it, because I just said A, didn't I? Okay, moving right along. I'm of two minds about it, because as someone with asthma who has had wicked trouble when walking in certain parts of the West Island because everyone's got a wood-burning fireplace, I understand it. But I love the smell of burning wood. I love the heat you get off a fireplace or a wood-burning stove. I've talked about this before, how it's a living heat instead of the sort of static heat that comes out of electricity or whatever.
It's very dry.
I love the aesthetic. I have this dream of kicking back in front of a fire with one of these and a book. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that's how I want to end my evenings.
Where I grew up, we had it on our homestead growing up with my dad. We had a fireplace upstairs, and we would literally hang the stockings, for Christmas on the fireplace, and it was just so amazing. And like when we were cold, we would just sit next to the fireplace and heat up our backs or our feet,
Yeah.
But now we just have a really big furnace, so it's like, it's like, okay, I can maybe like get a hot dog and a stick and cook it on there, but I mean, it's nothing really too crazy. It's just it blows hot air all over the house.
Yeah.
And it eats a lot of wood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 16 cords of wood a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Tenenbaum's here. When did you show up? I missed you. I missed your arrival. Sorry, dude.
Oh, fox it. Trial version.
Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to get that into the conversation. Good old Cliff, eh?
That was funny. I was so tired that night. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, what was funny was when your camera wasn't on yet. Like when you turned on your camera, or you turned off your camera to go and do something, and you sounded exactly like poor old Volcano Squad.
Yeah.
I think it was Cliff was on, right? We were like, what's going on?
Russell was on too.
Yeah.
When was this?
Trial version.
Oh yeah. You did it. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mallow, you should get into voice acting. If anybody ever needs somebody to say trial version, they should hire you.
Well, thank you.
The business will just come, slamming at the door.
But you know what? Just if I can just talk to something you were saying a minute ago, I think it's around wood stoves and the heat coming off of them. I think it's something like, should you believe in evolution, which I do, I think it's something like inherent in all of us that heat from fire is a good thing, and it saves our lives for thousands and thousands of years. This is something that just a basic need. Yeah, heat from fire, food, and sex. I guess I don't know. I'd add a third thing there just to complete the thought. But
how many cords of wood do you burn in your cabin, Russell?
Probably about 3 bush cords. So that's bush cord being the 4x4x8.
Well, it's funny that I just want to answer Mike first, and then I want to hit something that was asked relating to what you guys just said.
Yeah.
Mike, we can have fires in the national parks. In fact, they sell little packets of wood for like $7 each, but they have.
You probably can't bring your own wood either, right?
No, they really, especially now that there's the emerald ash borer and everything. Leave your wood in place. But they have these sort of rings. It's a fire pit with a grate that swings over it. IRC says we have a pellet stove in our den, wood stove in our cabin, and a wood stove in our tent. Love that kind of heat. Pellet stoves we can put in here in Montreal. I just figured pellet stove. What? I want a wood stove, dude.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, my only criteria when I bought the wood stove here was I want a great big glass door in front. I want to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And that's what I got.
Yeah. So Mallory, Dauber's asking if you're talking about 16 full cords or face cords.
I'm pretty sure it's a face cord because it's 4 feet high by 8 foot long by 16 inches. So there's 16 inches, 4 feet tall, 8 feet long.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a face cord.
Yeah.
And that's only for our house. Then you got to calculate the wood for the garage.
Yeah. Was that the door off of Russell's wood burning stove?
Yeah, it's really dirty right now, but that's the size of the window on my wood stove.
That would give off a nice light too, eh?
Yeah.
Russell, I kind of have to admit that I hadn't realized that you were completely off grid, which is why we had that weird conversation last time, because I'm so used to YouTube channels saying, so and so off grid, but they're actually set up for off grid but still attached, or there's all kinds of weird stuff. So I hadn't realized that you were like full on off grid.
I don't remember our conversation. Were you giving me a hard time about something?
No, I was just like blithering on and I said, oh wait, you're completely off grid. And he said, hello, channel
Do you
name.
know my channel name?
Yeah.
Oh right, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like,
yeah. Okay.
Wow, I feel like a real idiot now.
So Jess, I'm on 180 acres of my own property, and I'm 3 kilometers from the nearest road. There's nothing. There's no driveway here. There's no power lines or anything. It
sounds heavenly.
Like a 30-minute ATV ride to get here.
Sounds amazing.
How long has your beaver dam been there, Russell?
Years. Multi-generational beaver families have built it up over time.
Yeah.
Like the one beaver dam over here is like over 15 feet high. It's been a long time.
I was asking because our beaver dam here collapsed 10 years ago. Just Mother Nature, it just collapsed. I guess the beavers weren't taking care of it or something. I don't know. Maybe they ran out of food.
Man, they just hang out.
But yeah, they're back. So it's pretty cool to see it all like getting rebuilt.
Some people will, you're not supposed to, but some people just go around shooting beavers. Because they're incredibly destructive. I've got a love-hate thing going on with beavers. I mean, they gave us this beautiful view out of our cabin, but they're so incredibly destructive.
They're nature's engineers
and killers.
We're gonna just make sure that they're just not overpopulated so that they don't get like too big. But I heard they're really good to eat though.
I've heard the same, but I have never tried it.
I'm totally willing to try it. It's illegal to kill porcupine here, but we have one that's ravaging our forest right now. So
where I live, it's illegal to do anything, including live trapping squirrels. So as some of you know, I've been dealing with a squirrel infestation in my roof. Yeah. And I've realized that there were 3 squirrels living in my roof. And so I bought one of those one-way gates, and I finally installed it yesterday, I think it was. Was yesterday Monday?
Yes.
Yesterday was Monday because I'm live streaming. Hello, Jess. So 2 days ago, I installed this thing. It's up in the soffit. And I there was like a vent next to it, so I covered that with like a chicken wire. And last night that night, for the first time ever since we got these damn squirrels, I didn't hear scritching around in the ceiling.
That's a horrible sound.
I know, it's awful. Oh. And so today I'm sitting there at my computer doing work, and I suddenly heard tuk 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 on the roof. I was like, give me a break. So I went to see if they'd pulled it off or something, and I see all 3 squirrels are hanging on this gate trying to get in. So I cracked open the window and said, "Hey!" and they took off. And so I went and got the squirrel. I want to say dégraissant, but I mean
repellent.
Yeah, repellent is good enough. And I got my ladder, put it up, and went up, and went. and it was coming down on me. I was like, oh God, now I know why they hate this stuff. I just got down off the ladder as
Oh, it's
fast
also
as I
guest
could.
repellent.
Oh God, it's just horrible.
Oh my gosh. Have you guys seen those glitter bombs on the internet that they put
Yeah.
like on the side steps of the people that get their Amazon packages stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is just so funny. They got that fart gas and stink gas
Yeah.
and just start spraying in their houses. Oh my gosh, I'm so entertained by those videos.
I think a lot of those are like all set up.
Maybe.
I think some of them definitely are.
Yeah,
By the way, Mallory, Dauber is saying that is in fact a face cord. What you're
Yeah.
talking about, 3
There you
face
go.
cord to a full cord.
Yeah.
I think there's a different term that here in Quebec that Simone was referring to. 3 small cords and a long cord.
Okay.
Hike also says that they can't bring their own wood to most places either because the spread of wood-boring insects. Yeah, they have the dreaded pine beetle. Yeah, British
Oh.
Columbia has been ravaged by that.
Yeah.
And Jackie says that in Ontario it's about the same as it is here. Can't gather fallen wood. We can't either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because of the ash borer as well.
Yeah. And Tyler says, sorry, I'm late. I built a computer desk today.
I need to do
Mr.
that.
Overachiever.
I need to do that as well.
I need to do
get
that.
one of
I
those
have
sit
one
and
sitting
stand
here in
desks.
boxes.
That's going to be my next investment. This month was this year. My awesome chair.
Big, beautiful chair.
Yes, it is so comfortable. I can't sit on any chair right now because of my back, but this one I can sit on. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Take your drugs. Hello.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, but I'm gonna have to head off too and rest once I take them.
So do they knock you out?
It depends. Like the first 2 nights it didn't because it like my pain was just too
bad.
It was just too elevated, so it didn't do much except for like help me relax. And yesterday I took it pretty late, so I don't know, I fell asleep and I didn't really feel anything. But the 2 first nights that I took it around this time, it just helps me relax.
Well, yeah, it's relaxing to not be lying there in pain.
Yeah. So just laying down on my back and watching TV in my bed, that's mostly what I've been doing when I take those pills.
Excuse me. So tired. You're talking about sleeping and relaxing and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what that's like.
My daughter still wakes me up at night. She's freaking almost gonna be 5 years old. She still wakes me up at night.
Check this out. A couple of nights ago, I sleep with the aid of a CPAP machine because I'm fat and old. Let's just get that out of the way. And a couple of nights ago, Clemence woke up and sort of toddled in and, wanted to climb into bed with us because for some reason she woke up at 3 a.m. And I think my machine was scaring her because she was standing in the room and like whining at us, but not coming over. And we were like, and my wife I almost used her name. My wife was like, viens, sit là, viens. And she wouldn't come closer. And I was like, oh, I know what this is. So I just, and I hung it up. And then she came into bed. I don't know. No, in fact, sorry, because I was still asleep.
It would be scary.
She ran out. She left. And so the madame went and sort of snuggled her until she went back to sleep. But, poor kid.
You're pretty much Darth Vader while you're wearing that thing, right?
Yeah, it is scary.
And this one's not as bad as the one that, like the loaner they give you to you rent it for a couple of weeks to see how it works and everything. That one is, especially like with certain attachments, you lie down.
Oh my god!
And the missus is like, okay, it's an improvement, but So when I went
I'm
to
just
spend
gonna take a separate bedroom.
yeah, so when I went to spend my own money on one, they had offered me 2 or 3 models for the exact same price. I was like, okay, tell me what, and she said, well, there's something. This one's quieter, and I said, you don't have to go any further. That's the one.
There you go.
Throw it in a bag.
Good. At least you got a little improvement.
How much do those things go for?
Mine was came out to $1,900.
Wow.
Yep.
But you don't sound like you're dying anymore while you're sleeping, right?
You know what? It's a lifesaver because I'm also not falling asleep while driving anymore.
It's sleep apnea, right?
Yeah.
It's for sleep apnea. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
a couple of times I fell asleep on the highway.
Oh, that's
because I did a test. This is so boring. Sorry to everyone who's watching, but I'll get over this really quickly. I did a test and I was waking up like 4 times a minute. Like not waking up all the way, but you come out of the sleep and then you go back 4 times a minute. So, I was falling asleep everywhere. And now I'm waking up like 0.8 times an hour, which is kind of what most people do.
Okay.
So I think I consider it $2,000 well spent.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go lay on my back a little bit.
All right. See you, Mal.
All right.
Have a fine evening.
See ya.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Trial version.
Ah.
Oh God! Don't leave me with Jess. Does anybody else want to join?
Well, I'm just putting up the invite just in case someone else does, because we'll just bore each other, right?
Cliff, get in here. Help me. Oh.
So, a question about you being completely off grid. Then,
Yeah.
how careful do you have to be about your electricity consumption?
Oh, at this time of year, very, very careful. Like, well, I mean, yes and no. I'm on solar power here. I've got lots of solar power for like 6 months of the year. I have more power than I know what to do with.
Yeah.
But during the winter, I'm running the generator like every other day.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons why I've gone to the iPad mini. I just bought this off my oldest son for interesting aside. And I've been using this for everything like Facebook and Discord and just like everything because it has such a low power consumption.
Yeah, I get it. IRC, man, I don't think you've been on my screen ever.
No, I haven't. No.
You've got a thing in front of your face. What is that?
Oh, just a second. I'll get rid of that. Sorry.
Is that your actual name?
That's my name. Yeah.
You've got a whole studio set up there or some damn thing.
I do. Yeah. I got to get rid of this though.
Next, you're gonna have to explain the posters behind you.
Oh, okay. Just let me get rid of that there.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, okay. All right,
that made me feel like my live stream is really kind of like ragged ass.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, hell no, Jess. There are a lot of ragged ass live streams out there. No, you're good.
Everyone say bye to Mel.
Bye, Mel.
Some of those pictures, when I was up in Fort McMurray, the forest fire that they had there.
Yeah.
That's a couple of reminders of that because I went through it.
Okay. That was bad.
And that's my boat up on the other side there.
And it's your boat?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
what's your story, Elwin? I don't know who you are or
no, a lot of people don't, and I try to keep it that way actually. So
you get a YouTube channel, but you don't want anybody to see it.
That's right, yeah.
You don't want to
No, I retired about 2 years ago, and decided that I was going to pick up some of this YouTube stuff, and I use Wirecast, so I'm involved in a group with that. So that's why the studio is the way it is.
I used Wirecast for my first few live streams, but I kept having trouble with it, which is why I stopped.
Yeah, a lot of people do actually.
Yeah. And I wanted to change over to what's it called?
OBS.
OBS, but I couldn't do this. What we're doing now with people on. Though now there's a plugin or a site that you can. So I'm going to investigate that a bit further.
Yeah. So you've been using StreamYard for a while, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
I use Restream.io. I use that one lots.
Does that one let you have people on screen with you?
Yeah. And Zoom. You know what? I don't think on the Stream.io, what I do is I just use it for broadcasting solo.
Yep.
But for Zoom, I have Zoom on lots. So
Restream is good if you're streaming to multiple platforms at the same time.
Correct.
Twitter, Facebook, and whatever.
Yeah, I never really thought to stream to Facebook at the same time because I'm not sure how the side chat works in that case.
Well, it gives you it all together.
Okay.
Yes, your chat will come in from Restream as well as YouTube, from Facebook and YouTube. Whatever you're streaming to, the chat will just come into Restream.
Huh. Interesting. Maybe I should take a look.
Maybe I should take a look. StreamYard is good.
The thing I don't like about StreamYard, we're going to bore everyone here, but the thing I don't like about StreamYard is I've got a 1080p camera, but because I'm not paying for StreamYard, it's only showing you guys 720.
Yeah.
That's what bugs me about it. You know, that's why I kind of want to go to OBS.
Most people only stream in 720. Like you go to Twitch, like most people are, they're only 720.
Right. That's true.
But you should get rid of this thing here.
Yeah, but I have to pay for the service to do that. And here's the thing. There are two paid tiers because I have no problem paying for a service. But the one that gets me the 1080p, which is the thing that I care about, is the expensive one. And I can't afford it.
How much is it?
It's like $38 US a month.
Oh, for the 1080p?
Yeah.
You should cut some wood and sell it in Montreal.
Yeah.
Pay for your
sell some wood.
Your StreamYard.
Yeah.
The way I see it is if you're making money from it enough to pay for it, then do it. But otherwise,
enough to pay for it, which I'm not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Why is there no $sign on the chat? Are you not monetized?
I am monetized now. I felt really weird about monetizing the live streams.
I wouldn't worry about it.
You think it'll be okay?
It won't turn anybody off, and there's some people who just want to buy you a beer.
There you go.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and again someone drops one of those what's it called, a super chat on me. And I get all bashful and thankful, and then we sort of get back to, to the stuff. But I wasn't sure if I would put people off by having it actually monetized. Like having ads and stuff.
So wait, you have had super chats on and you've turned it off again?
No, they're on.
Why am I'm not seeing it? I only see a happy face.
Oh, maybe I turned off the monetization completely on my lives. I mean, I'm not worried about it because, I'll think about it for next week. But right now, I'm not worrying about it. What the hell was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Tyler says anything above like $5 a month. Anything above $5 a month seems kind of strange. They have a 2-tiered thing, and it's just the higher tier, which gets you. It's a little more pro. Like you can stream to all kinds of stuff at once, and this and that, and oh, by the way, you can do 1080p. But most of the stuff, I don't care about as well. That's another thing. If it was like $5 or $10 a month, and it was a bunch of stuff I didn't care about, and then one feature that I wanted, fine, But because it's like 38 or whatever it is US, that's what, 43 Canadian, depending on the month. For 1080p, I'm okay at 720.
How much is the tier to get rid of this thing?
I don't know, it's like 20 something a month, I think.
Yeah. And you also only get so many hours a month, right? Unless you pay.
Yes, very true. But I only live stream once a week.
For 2 hours.
For 2 hours, yeah. Yeah. Mark, I think, is saying speaking to you.
Yeah, I'm just kind of answering them. It's the same hull there, Mark, as the one that I have. Mine is a 38, but it's the same hull as the Ocean.
That's your boat?
Yeah,
That's my boat, yeah.
on the wall.
Nice.
Yeah.
Too big.
Elwin, what did you do before you retired, Elwin?
I was in senior management in one of the oil companies at Fort McMurray, Alberta.
Okay.
So I was there I don't know, 30 years, I guess.
Wow.
And you retired back home?
Yeah.
And are you on the Rock or are you in Labrador?
No, actually on the island.
Yeah. I have a friend who's got a whole bunch of family in Labrador. He goes back every now and again.
Yeah.
Looks like lovely, lovely country.
The last time I was out in that boat, the wind was so heavy. My wife and I came to our dock, and she's got a shoulder is sore, so she had a loop to throw over the rumps that are there to hold on to the boat, and she kept missing. So I jumped off the fly bridge, ran down, and grabbed the rope, went onto the dock, and the wind took the boat. I almost lost it.
Wow.
It's a big boat.
Yeah.
I gotta feel the same way about my wife for certain things, like can you drive the ATV? Could she have driven the boat?
No, she couldn't.
Yeah.
I've had her out and I've had her on the fly bridge and I went down into the helm, and then I start steering the boat, and the next thing I could hear her squealing. You know, the boat's going all over the place. So, I just did it for badness, but she's very nervous in water.
I used to crew on a 30-foot sailboat. I haven't done it in a long ass time, so I say I used to, even though the invade's always there. And that once we were cruising along, just booting, booting on a sailboat is like 4 or 5 knots, right? And we hit this big ass rock. Like the keel hit the rock. A keel is essentially just a big hunk of lead under a sailboat. I know that with motorboats, you don't have quite the same.
No.
You know, just like, so we went from about 4 knots to just boom, stopped, and we all just sort of fell forward. And so we sort of picked ourselves up, and the skipper said, "Get below, tell me if we're taking on water." So I shot down below, and just as I did that, the missus called me up, and she was pissed off about something. And she's like, da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Honey, I got to call you back. You know, and this is really," and I said, "I have to see whether or not we're sinking. I will call you right back." And I hung up. And then when I spoke to her later, because we didn't sink, she said, "So how come you didn't tell me that earlier?" I was like, "You weren't listening." But like when they pulled the boat out at the end of the season, man, you should have seen, like, when these things are whole, right? They're beautiful. There's nothing like a sailboat, nothing in the world. A French-built sailboat, right? And the keel is just this elegant, and it was like elegant, and this big freaking like lead. He just sort of, you know, he got the blowtorch out, and over a long time, just sort of knocked it back into shape. You know, where are we here?
So
Kincaid's saying hi to everyone.
It's nothing but work.
What about
on the sailboat? If you're sailing like all the time, tracking and moving sails and ropes, oh man, I don't know if I could do that. It's just,
I like transportation that doesn't have engines involved, right? I like biking, by which I mean bicycling. I like sailing. I like self-propelled stuff, you know, like hiking and walking and running and stuff.
You know what? I follow a couple of channels that are, they have sailboats or sailing around the world, and it's kind of like, here's a wall of maintenance items. You know,
yeah.
We maintain something, we take it off, but it's like every time I look at see the wall, it's full again. They're always doing maintenance.
Yeah, and sailing's expensive too, eh?
And there was a point in time where my wife and I wanted to retire in a sailboat and just kind of sail, the Caribbean and stuff like that. But after learning a lot and seeing all this maintenance involved, I'm like, I'm with Elwyn. Give me a trawler. Give me those fancy tugboats you've seen, not the real, but the tugboats that kind of look like trawlers. They're like homes on water.
Those that are essentially yachts. Yeah, yeah.
Like, but that's probably the way I go now. I don't care. I'll put an engine in that sucker.
But every boat is maintenance, man. Like, I spent more money on my boat, and I could still spend another $50,000 on it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
There's always something.
There's always something. Yeah. I'll be back in a minute, guys. Give me a second here.
The seas are unforgiving, right? Especially if it's on salt water.
Yeah, everything rust. I pulled one of my engines apart and redone the injectors on it this last spring, and I was going to do this spring now do the other motor, and it's just expensive. Everything you touch, you got to keep up on it all the time. And salt.
Yeah,
salt,
that's another thing. I'm bad with mechanics. I'm bad with engines. Everything I've ever learned about cars has gone into my brain where nothing comes out, in a spot of my brain where nothing comes out. So I'd be screwed on a boat. I really would. So, Elwyn, what did you do in your company?
I was senior maintenance manager. So I had a bunch of electricians and millwright leaders and welding leaders under me.
Okay. Are you an engineer?
No, I started out as an electrician, and then I just got into leadership, and I just
worked your way up.
Lots of openings, so they kept pushing me up. So,
no, cool.
It was a fairly good job, but you're dealing with people and issues all the time. It's like I was glad to retire.
Yeah, maintenance, absolutely. You're dealing with issues all the time.
Yeah, but just people issues. Oh my! I had 91 people under me at one time, and then another time I had 300 people under me, and it was just like a nightmare. I loved it. It was challenging, but it's just I was happy when I retired.
Yeah, you didn't miss it at all.
No.
Yeah, when I worked for a big telecom years ago. I was in management, and we were server support, so it was kind of sort of the same sort of thing. We did a lot of maintenance. We took calls, and So I didn't have 91 people or 300 people working for me. It's funny when you get like two people are really great at their jobs, but they hate each other. They won't work together. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, my first challenge as a frontline leader is I had to set up a group to go do a bunch of work. So I just picked names. And then one of my leaders came in and said, "Oh, no, Bill can't work with Mike and Harry can't work with Sam." And I was like, okay. So that was the start of it.
Yeah.
Every day was a challenge and every day was fun.
You just reminded me of Sean James. You guys know his story, right?
Yeah.
Russell definitely knows his story, but like he used to run a contracting company until he got screwed over and left like with, was it $750,000 of debt or whatever it was?
Yep.
But I mean, he obviously used to be in kind of a similar thing in that he had all kinds of people working under him. And I mean, I used to work in contracting as well, but obviously not in a leadership capacity. I spent 5 years, 5 summers. It was my summer job, working on, not really building a lot of like subdivisions or anything, but a lot of renos and stuff like that. I've got some funky stories, and it's amazing wherever you get a bunch of people in the same place, especially when it's kind of like rough and ready guys. Like I'm sure up in Fort McMurray, yeah, or on construction sites or whatever. Sometimes when two guys don't really get along, it can be an issue, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I used to just sit back and watch. Okay, let's see what happens. And you can always tell a good manager from a bad manager in those sort of situations.
Personal agendas are the worst thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Absolutely.
out trying to get the extra overtime and then screw their brother, and it just goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where the hell did Russell go?
I don't know.
He done gone. Maybe he's gone to get another drink.
It's 11:45 here.
Yep. 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
Wait, it's 11:45. Oh yeah, because you're on. I was like, "What are you talking about, Holmes?" I'd forgotten about that extra half hour.
Anyway, I got to show you something. Now I'm going to show you my tent.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. Is that the one you said? Show me an inside picture of it.
Okay.
That's a nice. Wow.
That's the stove setup area.
Yeah. Looking good.
And then
you've got like a big porch on it. You said you were showing.
There's a 10-foot vestibule on it.
Yeah.
And in fact, there on the left, it's a little bathroom.
Okay.
There's a mess there, but I mean.
Okay, so when you were saying that you had a tent, but you kind of built up like a cabin inside, you were not lying.
No. So that's a picture here now where we put the stove in. I brought it up on a side-by-side.
Yeah, okay.
And this is what it looked like. We framed it out on the inside first.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. So why did you do it that way?
Actually, between Joe and Zach and Dave up north of 60 and Jay, I like the concept of having the tent.
Right.
And of course, my wife don't like to be in an open tent like that, so I decided I'd build a cabin kind of in the inside.
Okay. All right. Because I was saying, like, crumbs, man. If you've already built all that, why not just build a cabin? But yeah. There's an aesthetic beauty to having a tent. Look at that vestibule, man. You could just sit there. You could be raining out, and you just sit there with a glass of scotch in your hand, or even better, like a cup of hot tea or something.
You son of a bitch, sitting there, lording it over us.
Lording it over.
I gotta ask, were those 2x4 rafters?
No, 2x3s.
2x3 rafters?
Yep. And then we went and
Are
put
they
in some
solid?
in there. And then if I got to see here.
I can't hard to tell.
No, I don't have a picture, but we actually, maybe this one.
Jess, can you make that fuller screen?
I will do my damnedest to do that. Right? Is that how you do it? Yeah. So it really is a cabin inside.
It is.
So
yeah.
You
Nice.
can't even tell that you're in a tent though that way.
No.
And what's your ridge beam?
The ridge beam is just here, this one. That's all. Just they're uprights, and I just put a ladder kind of a thing down.
Oh yeah, down the center. So
Yeah.
in a really heavy wind, how solid is it?
Perfect.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. There's a wind that blows straight up the lake.
Yeah.
And it's good. Then I'm surrounded by trees and that, so I got pretty good protection there. And then down on the bottom part, I put the they're cutouts from like your doors when they put windows in. We got a door factory here.
Okay.
They cut out these, I think they're 2 feet wide and 33 inches, and they put a window in, and then those cutouts they throw away. So what I did, I skirted the whole tent underneath
With those cutouts.
with those cutouts. Yeah.
So is that what a 12 by 16?
It is 14 by 30, including that 10-foot overhang.
Including the okay, but like excluding the overhang though.
14 by 20.
20. There's
by
20
20?
feet inside. 20 by 14.
It's a nice size. I love Joe and Zach's videos, but I want him to get off his ass and build a real cabin. At some point, are you going to build a real cabin there, or just going to use the tent?
Yeah, just going to use the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think Joe might be waiting for his dad to die so he can just take over his dad's cabin, which is amazing.
Oh, really?
So the land that we have there, this little cabin here, this is a trapper's camp. That was my uncle that owned that. And of course, he's there. All the family is gone now. And I decided to put the tent right alongside of his cabin there. So.
Yeah, I would love to build a log cabin.
Yeah, we have lots of fun.
Yep.
See, I don't like log cabins. I don't like that. I'd rather build a stick frame building than a log cabin.
I just feel that I'm thinking more in terms of the building process than the finished product, really, because I'm like 30 years outside of my work in construction, right? But I can sort of see how a log cabin is built, and I like the aesthetic of building this sort of old school cabin. And because at the hunt camp I used to go to, it was one of those camping trailers, and we'd built on like an extension on the side, right? Using like plywood and stick construction and all that. But I like the aesthetic of the more primitive construction of a log cabin.
Yeah.
But I've never spent a winter in one. I've spent a weekend in one several times. So I don't know if, in the depths of, when it's 40 below Canadian, actually at 40 below, Canadian and Freedom are the same, aren't they? So when it's 40 below, like, I don't know if those big honking logs are enough insulation or not. Whereas if you build something with at a 2x4s or whatever, and you blow in some insulation or whatever, I know what happens there. Right, I know what the effect of that is.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly willing to accept that a lot of the theories I have in my head will not hold up to. Will you cut it out, Russell? You making fun of me?
I wasn't sure what we were doing there. I was like, it was like a fist bump. We're swirling our drinks because we're. Hold on. Let me get the bouquet of my Coors Light here. Yeah, it's terrible. Sorry, continue with your awesome, amazing story.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying you don't like a log cabin, but is that because of the aesthetic of it, or is it because you know that you freeze in the middle of winter because there's no insulation or?
Well, the wood itself is the insulation. I don't.
Yeah,
doubt
so
there's lots of insulation there. I don't like the aesthetic. I mean.
Okay.
I'm really curious to see Sean James' next cabin that he builds, which is apparently entirely dependent on the wood that he cuts down.
You and me both. I like his cabin, but I kind of feel that if he had planned it more, it would be a little different.
His previous cabin, yeah, I think he did what he could with what he had, but it really, and it was nice inside, but it really felt like a cave to me. And I like what I have here. I wouldn't. Sitting here, I wouldn't want to see kind of logs. I like my pine.
Yes,
kind of thing.
It's very nice. It's I like the color. I like the overall color of your place. I like to see wood. Yeah.
That and my walls are insulated with R22 insulation, and I was able to put electrical wiring in. It's really easy, not so easy in a log cabin.
Very true. Yeah, it's hard to determine the R rating of a wall if that's just a bunch of logs. R22 is pretty good. I got R14.
Wait, in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's about an R12 in a wall, an R20 in the ceiling.
Yeah,
our
walls are 14.
The standard these days for new buildings is crazy. It's like R60 in the walls, or something like that. Or
Really?
R40. I don't know. It's crazy.
Wow.
But my walls are R22. My ceiling and my floor is
R40. Probably.
No, it's like R28, I think.
Austin, is a cordwood home that one that you can? It's all just like you can see the ends of the logs.
Cordwood home. I gotta look it up.
I think if it's what I think it is, they look really cool, but like that's not what I would build.
So it's like they've taken logs and.
That's what I think he's talking about. Yeah, I've seen one of those, but
yeah, you're still doing the same thing. Like what's between the logs? Is like cement or something?
Yeah, there's some sort of chinking in there. Yeah, it's probably a cement. I mean, with that kind of construction, you really want something that's not going to, grind itself away with the weather. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think a log with the R value is R1 per inch, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
It isn't. So you got a 12-inch log, you got an R12, and then you got the thermal mass.
Well,
right.
It depends on the wood, isn't it?
It takes a long time to heat up when it's cold.
Yes.
If you're talking about the R value of wood, it depends on the wood, right? Like hardwood or softwood or.
Yeah. Austin is saying that the way the logs are open that way allows for great humidity. Oh God, Jesse, come on, humidity regulation. I guess that makes sense because I mean, at the end of the day, wood is really just a very hard sponge, right? So I guess which is why it dries from the edges rather than the sides.
I don't know what that means. Humidity regulation. How does that even work?
Well, because wood is, I mean, I'm simplifying massively. It's all just tubes, right?
Okay, so like, say you've got your round, and it's I don't know, half a foot long or a foot long. I don't know how big you make it. So how is that going to regulate humidity inside your cabin? Is it
I'm just going with the theory here, but it's probably because wood is tiny passages. It probably allows the moisture to sort of seep out. Okay, look, you know how if you pretend this is a log, all right? Pretend this is a log. Cut there. You stick it in a puddle or in like tar, and it seeps up in.
So there's a wicking thing going on.
That's what I think he's talking about.
No, it takes
You're onto something, Gus.
2 years to dry my maple out. So is it going to take 2 years to get the humidity from inside my cabin to outside my cabin in the summertime? What about in the wintertime when I need humidity inside my cabin? Is it sucking in? Is there
That's simply just tar the outside.
Can I put a light switch on so I can tell it which way to send the humidity?
No, you tar the outside, and then in the summer you scrape all the tar off with one of those spackle scrapers. just I mean, it'll take you a couple of weekends and bring some beer, but you can do it. It's fine. It's great.
I'm in.
Sweet. So you can build me one too while you're at it.
You know what would make sense instead of what were we just calling that?
Oh, hey, Bettina.
Cord?
Hi.
The cord?
The cord.
Oh, it's only
cabin.
Bettina. The cord, yeah. If you cut them like square, and then did it, so you had minimal like cement around them, just kind of enough to hold them together.
So why don't you just buy a bunch of 4x4s then? By which I mean an epic bunch. A
Pressure
huge
treated
pile.
4x4s? Yeah, I don't know. Why not?
I think price might play into that.
Put them together like bricks.
Like Lego.
Ah, good vintage. Good vintage. 2021.
Simo, of course, has found us a link to Cordwood Construction.
All right, I gotta cut Jess a break here. Hold on. I'll be back.
It's 12 there now, so I'm gonna.
You're gonna hit the hay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out and getting on screen and telling us about your boat and all that. And
Sure.
speak to you a little later.
It was going to work. I thought it might, but I said I'd try it and see. So.
And by the way, where do you stream? On YouTube or on like Twitch or something?
I've been doing it on Facebook and on YouTube.
Okay.
And I think every time I put up one, I take it back down. So
Okay.
I'm my worst enemy of reviewing what I do.
Right.
So I'll get better at it.
Okay. All right. So good night.
I got to figure out how to get off here now. You're just going to knock me off or what?
I could if you want me to. Is that what you want me to do? All right.
Yes, boy.
All right. Everyone say bye to IRC. Oh, to,
Here,
Elwin.
Erwin.
Elwin. Yeah. All right. Bye bye.
Okay, here I've got some port. I don't
Port?
have a good glass like you have. I've got a pewter glass in the city for. It's not glass. Pewter cup in the city for drinking port.
I also have a couple of pewter cups for drinking port.
But I can totally I can totally do this with port. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What does the swirling do? It oxygenates it.
Yeah. What I usually do for scotch, or I guess bourbon or whatever, is I'll pour it about 20 minutes before I start to drink it, to give it a chance to open up a little bit. But my second channel is about whiskey, so let's not pollute the rain dance content with me blithering too much. What's the port you got? Is that like an Awfully?
Please check out Jess's other channel. So this is a
Taylor Fladgate. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of money on Taylor bottles.
You know what? The local liquor store does not have a lot of port. It's got like two brands. One is the Taylor Fladgate, and one is I forget. I got it over there. Actually, they had a new one last week, which I bought. But my favorite is the Taylor Fladgate 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Tawny. God, that stuff is good. It just like sizzles your tongue and has sex with it, and just takes it on adventures, and then it's and then you wake up in a dream. It's awesome.
I used to first of all, I want to tell Bettina this is not a snifter. Snifters are bigger and they're like round. This is called a Glencairn glass. It's specifically for whiskey tasting. It's designed so that you can nose your whiskey, fruit notes, little chocolate. Is it a little brown sugar I detect? Definitely malty. And then you can take your sip.
And you don't touch the glass part where the whiskey is, so you don't warm it up.
I hold it like this. Some people do this. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, stop.
Like this. Some people use a copita. It's like a tiny wine glass with a stem, and they just hold the stem. But wine, whiskey, anything like that, I never touch the glass itself.
Jess is the guy at the party going, James Bond, just stop, okay? Just you don't know how to drink. Just put it down.
He doesn't. I tried to make that Vesper, like the famous James Bond drink, the Vesper, right? 3 measures of gin, 1 measure of vodka, 1 measure of Lillet. And I made this drink, and it was terrible. I had to pour it out. Like, it's a bucket of gin. So, yeah, you're right. He doesn't know how to drink. Shaken, not stirred. Give me a break, James Bond.
Yeah, he's drinking a watered-down martini and being snooty about it.
You can't be snooty when you're all like, hey, shaken, not stirred. Shut up, James. You kill the bad guys. I'll make the drinks. But yeah, Bettina, it's not a snifter. Snifters are bigger, and they're more for like brandy or whatever. Because the idea behind a snifter is you do hold it. Like, the little stem comes here. You put your fingers around the stem, and you can't do it with a Glencairn because it's the wrong shape. But you hold the whole thing, because with brandy, it's good to have your palm sort of warm it up a little bit and sort of open it up. So snifters are designed to be held, where you're holding the globe, whereas you don't do that with a wine glass or one of these.
I'm a bad person too. I put my port outside. This is like freezing cold right now.
You're a bad person, Russell. You're just bad.
I just really like it that way. But at least I'm not watering it down. And I can still swirl it.
You can swirl.
Sniff it.
About 20-ish, 30 years ago, when I used to work in tech. Well, I am working in tech, but before I burnt out of tech the first time, so I was in my late 20s. I was a department head. I was the head of documentation for a small startup. It was a startup because no serious company was going to put a 20-something as a department head. Yeah, and I was buying a lot of the Taylor Flatgate. And I had bought, I think it was a Taylor, a Tawny Port, a 1972. Okay, because I was also born in 1972. So I was like, I'm 72, the bottle is 72. I laid down a packet of money on it, and I put it in my pantry. Now, here's the problem. My pantry at that place was on an outside wall, so all winter it froze, and all summer it just baked. And so when I finally opened that bottle, like 10 years later, it wasn't rancid, but it had definitely peaked and started coming down the other side. It was nowhere near, because a friend of mine had bought 2 bottles when I bought mine, and we opened one of them, and it was just delicious. And it was no longer delicious. It had been like baked and frozen and baked and frozen. And port, wine, whiskey, none of them deal well with that,
Yeah.
So I was kind of got a little weepy when I opened it, and I was let down. just let down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, Simo's going like hardcore. Now he's found us a link for straw bale houses. Next, it'll be rammed earth.
Oh God! Hold on. First, I want to talk about that for a second. But first, we have to acknowledge Jackie, who said, "I only tried martinis once, and I don't remember it. It couldn't have been that great." Let's go, Jackie.
Okay, but you first, and then I'll speak.
Why are you going to talk about martinis and drinks? Because I got to go on about straw bale houses.
Okay, let me say a couple of things about martinis first. A lot of people believe in the the Churchill sort of approach to the martini. He wants gin in the glass, and then just for the vermouth, just sort of bow in the direction of France kind of thing. But I do 2 kinds of martinis, and they're both recipes from the mid 1800s, and neither of them are that. They're both gin martinis. One calls for not a slow gin, an old Tom gin. The other calls for just a dry gin. And they're both much, much more interesting than what most of us think about when we say martini. Because one calls for, I think it's a 1-to-1 gin, dry vermouth, and with a little dash of absinthe. And the other one is, I don't remember because I've had like beer and whiskey all night. But at the end of the day, a lot of people have a martini that's like, 3 ounces of vodka or gin, and then just like a little splash of vermouth. That's not how it happens when you're really steeped in cocktails. So Jackie, I could make you a martini that you will definitely remember. If we didn't live in not opposite, but different provinces.
I heard one guy say the way he does it is he puts some vermouth in the glass, swirls it around, then pours it back out again.
Yeah, and when I started, that's what I did too.
Yeah,
it's a very simple. It's not a very classic martini, that's for sure. But yeah, I used to do the same thing. Straw bale houses, Russell.
Yeah, you good?
I'm okay. I'm doing fine.
I belong to a few different Facebook groups that are kind of in the vein of off-grid, One's off-grid beginners, off-grid living, off-grid wilderness living. Anyway,
Hold
so I
on.
see-
Oops. Just hold on.
Yep.
Austin, yes, you can hop on and say hello because you're probably going to have stuff to say with Russell here. Russell, keep going. I'm going to get him the invite.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, so every now and then questions come up like, I really want to do a straw bale house. What do you think of it? I really want to do a yurt. What do you think of it? I really want to do a shipping container house. What do you think of it? I really want to do a mud hut. What do you think?
Hi, Dave. Everyone say hi to Up North of 60.
Hey, Dave. And like every single time I'm like, all of those buildings I think are like pie in the sky things. They sound really cool. They sound neat, but just freaking build a stick building. I am so happy with my stick cabin. I can't tell you. And I think a lot of those places, like a yurt, how the hell do you insulate a yurt? I don't know.
Well, that one's weird because a yurt it's essentially just a tent, right? I mean, it really is. It's just a tent. Yeah. So, like, if I was to build something, straw bale, I'm not sure about in my climate. Rammed earth sounds really cool and stuff, but I find that because I watch a lot of this stuff on the Tube of Views, right? Because I think construction is cool. But so many of these houses, they go all like creative and the living area is a circle. And then we've got this arch that goes into a bedroom that's on the top of a tower and it's shaped like an onion. It's like, no. I want to see just a standard house, but rammed earth. I just totally racked my elbow on my computer. And it hurts like hell.
Sorry, before we get to Austin, Dave, come and join us. Okay, Austin, go. Ready?
Dave, there's an invite there.
What the hell is all behind you there on your wall?
My pegboard full of tools.
Well, what's the deal?
He's got some tools.
I have my screwdrivers, my pliers. I'm in my workshop, so that's why I'm...
Sorry, can you remove the comment? It'll make this
yeah.
This thing a little bit bigger.
Where is it?
Oh, it'll make your thing bigger.
I will do this, and then I'll do this. And then...
It looks like a bunch of multi-tools. But
I have one multi-tool there.
I'm not wearing my glasses.
There's some channel locks and some...
Yeah.
There's the one multi-tool.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry. When it was small, it looked like a bunch of multi-tools. Okay, awesome. What's your story? What's going on in your life?
Oh, not a whole lot. One day at work, but I thought I would. The interesting thing about cordwood homes is I think as far as call them alternative building methods from what I've read and the couple of homes that I've seen, it's
Yo.
Hey Dave. It's the most attainable for, call them, novice or first-time builders.
Because it's just like essentially firewood?
Yeah.
Just stacking firewood?
And the cost to building is far cheaper because you don't have to be as selective about the grade of logs that you're selecting.
Right, because you don't need like 12 feet of straight log.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
It allows for almost complete consumption of all the materials used because you feel that they're mortared on the inside and the outside, and then that air gap in the middle is filled with sawdust typically for an insulator.
Interesting.
And it allows you to do, again, I don't know that I would do it, but you can build like a curved wall, or you can put in, the really neat thing is I've seen like people that put in all kinds of beautiful windows that you wouldn't otherwise be able to readily do in a log home.
Right.
But
right. Interesting. I'm going to look this up for sure.
There's I forget the guy that.
Come on, Russell. Yeah, good man.
I think I have to do it from the top, so I'm not like warming up my port.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave.
You said there's a whole book?
Dave, is that a Guinness?
David, what the hell? How big is that beer?
Your mic's not on, Dave.
It
There you go.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know, just it's the bear mug. It's a
wow,
it's a old English ale, so it's just a brown ale. It's pretty good.
nice.
Oh, brown ale's nice. Sorry, continue. Austin, you look
Yeah.
like you're. Oh,
Dave, are there a lot of, like, where you live? Are there a lot of sort of alternative, like, built cabins, like what Austin was talking about, or is it all just sort of stick construction?
No, there's a lot of different alternative homes up here. More specifically in Yellowknife Bay, there's actually quite a few houseboats. There's a pretty big houseboat community there. A lot of people live off grid. You know, they have cabins, they have canvas tents, teepees, a lot of cabins around Yellowknife. There's a few sea-can homes here as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of unique.
What's a
Interesting.
sea-can home?
What's a sea-can home, Dave?
Basically, people just buy. I think they're like Class A sea cans. They come in 20 foot and 40 foots, and they just configure them in such a way where they can either have, like a 2 or 3 or 4 stacked sea can
Like
structure,
shipping container.
and they just weld
okay.
doors and staircases on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, sea can containers.
Yeah,
And there's some
okay.
really unique configurations that you can make out of those things.
The thing that worries me about shipping
But
container
tiny
houses-
homes and houseboats are probably the most common alternative.
Okay. I'm wondering what it would be like in a shipping container house under the summer sun. Because in Montreal, it gets like pretty hot and humid. Like, I wonder how, because it's essentially a metal box, right? You can cut some windows in it, but it's still a metal box.
Well, and if you want to talk about one and
Yeah, I think
done,
most of them are spray foamed.
Okay.
if you want to talk about something that's really one and done, you have essentially when you modify the container and then that's it. There's not really a whole lot of opportunity thereafter and you're kind of doing away with the structural rigidity of the sheet metal as soon as you cut a hole into it, because that sheet metal is made strong by the corrugation that is stamped into it.
Yeah, so
power
you can't just cut a window in.
Right.
Right? You have to sort of do it with, you have to plan it and do some special stuff, I guess. I'd never heard them called sea cans before. They've always just been shipping.
I never have either. Yeah. Honestly, I think they're kind of dumb. It might just be me.
Russell.
Russell. I don't like the idea. I mean, I went through that phase where sea cans were cool and yurts were cool and straw bale homes were cool and Lego was cool, but
Yo, Lego is cool, okay? We could never afford Lego as a kid, so my daughter gets as much Lego as she wants.
you could never afford Lego as a kid?
No, are you kidding?
Every Christmas for years, I had a Christmas wish list. I never got anything on my wish list. And I never put Lego on there. I'm just saying. Dave!
Did you ever see James May build a life-size home out of Lego?
No. But I'm going to go looking for it right after we're done here because that guy's cool.
That's worth a watch.
So, Dave, your channel's blowing up. Your videos in the last couple of months are doing awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Just, I guess, just timing must have been there. Yeah, there were some strategies that I used. Sorry, guys, my internet's really lagging here. I'll be right back in 1 second.
Okay. Except Dave just said there are some strategies that he's been using. So now I want to hear about it. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. Wait. I want to hear about the strategies because I want my channel to blow up.
Well, I don't watch any videos on my subscription list. so pardon me, but I did watch one of Dave's recently, and his production value has gone way up.
Yeah.
But the strategy for him, I'm going to guess, is thumbnails and I mean, the
text.
prediction value also leads to better retention times as well.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a video he did a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, that has 3.3 million views.
Well,
And it's a picture.
I wonder, here's something that I'm wondering about. And you let me know what you think. And I will try to get through the rest of the live stream without going any further into this bottle.
Why not? Damn it.
Well, because I
don't come here to hear you talk. I come here to watch you drink. Come on.
What I'm wondering, and it's good that Dave is back, actually, because what I'm wondering about is I was listening to a podcast by the guys who run Lost Art Press. Do you know Lost Art Press? Russell, man, this is like I would have thought that they do a lot of woodworking books and like a lot of really sort of old school skills. The books are expensive as shift, so I can't afford any of them. But like they also do the anarchist toolbox and stuff like that. And they have this. And they do Mortise and Tenon magazine, which is expensive as hell, but it's just beautiful. And they've got this podcast called Mortise and Tenon. And one of the guys was talking about when he was doing, he was giving like a seminar at a woodworking convention. And he sort of said, so, how many of you guys woodwork full time? And not a lot of people put their hands up. He said, so how many of you guys work in blah? And it turned out that about half the crowd there was guys who worked in high tech.
I believe it.
And he said, what the hell? And they were like, well, because this is my story too, right? Because I do woodwork, but I work in high tech. And sometimes when I get home, I have to make something with my hands, right? Something that is the opposite of my day job, something where the skills are hundreds of years old rather than a couple of decades old. And he said it was surprising to him how many people do spend their day times in these very high-tech fields, whether it's marketing or coding or blah, blah, blah. And they feel the need to reconnect with older things. I mean, I'm holding up a spoon because it's in front of me because I carve spoons. But, I also built a workbench and stuff using as few power tools as possible. I said that there's this movement. And I wonder if channels like Dave's and stuff benefit from some of that as well, because part of the reason I watch Ray Mears and Dave and like all these bushcraft and camping and hiking channels is because I do spend so much of my day in a high-tech environment working with high-tech stuff, and it feeds something in me that I'm not sure how to describe when I watch Dave and Viv building a fire and eating a steak, or Ray Mears, putting up some old style canvas tent in Africa, or Joe, excuse me, working on his lean-to, and it's the same thing that gets fed when I'm actually in the woods myself.
Well, if our simpler example, but I mean, when the Kindle came out, everyone thought that everyone was going to buy a Kindle and paper books were not going to go by the wayside, but that purchasing of paper books is going to decline dramatically.
Yeah.
And if anything, I think the desire for paper books has remained. I'd have to look at the
standard. Yeah,
remained pretty static over the last 20 years. I think the variety of books which is printed is probably less, but people are buying books all the time.
I like a book to be paper. I like real books. I like to sit there in an armchair and feel the pages and smell the paper. But my favorite print medium is actually magazines. And I want my magazines on an iPad. Because they're so ephemeral, magazines feel like wasted paper to me. So if I can move them over to an iPad, I'm fine. But books, I want to be on my shelf. I take one down. I read it in bed without worrying about like the blue light keeping me up all night or any of that stuff. I fall asleep. The pages get crinkled. I don't care, because a book that is used looks used.
Hmm.
You know, I like books that are looking scrappy because I've read them like 10 times over the past 20 years, kind of thing. But magazines, I want on an iPad.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. My internet's lagging, so I think I'll be better off if I just keep my camera off at the moment.
That's fine.
Yeah, can we talk some YouTube stuff for a bit? Would
Yeah,
anyone?
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So Dave, your channel's doing really, really well, and I'm looking at your last 10 videos. Pictures, obviously, of the tent in the winter. There's like 7 of your 10 last videos are your tent, and it's funny because the one video that I watched and I commented on is the tent's kind of glowing yellow.
Right.
You know, and I love that thumbnail. I think that's probably your best thumbnail of the last 10, but otherwise people would disagree with me because obviously you got 3.3 million videos on one picture, but like several other pictures are almost exactly the same thumbnails. I mean,
Right.
you get nearly the views. Do you know why? Like that one video did really well and the other ones didn't?
Let me open up real quick for a second. I just need to look at my videos to see which ones you're talking about.
What's Dave's channel?
Up north of 60.
PewDiePie.
You are such a brat, Russell.
That was I'm joking. He's bigger than PewDiePie.
He's bigger than Jesus.
So which one were you talking about specifically, Russell? You're talking about the...
Okay, so I'm looking at your last 10 videos.
Okay.
And you've got that one that has 3.3 million views.
Yes, the -34 freezing cold winter camping.
Exactly. So that, I mean, that thumbnail is very similar to another video that you have that also says -34C alone winter camping, but that one only has 65,000 views. Do you know why?
Only.
Yes. Yeah.
Before you guys go any further, I just want to say for anyone, like including Austin, who doesn't know, I just put the link to Dave's channel in the side chat. Okay, keep going, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, so if you go back even a little bit further, there's one on November 28th I put up with the same thumbnail that's got 5.5 million on that video.
Yeah.
And then there's a -34 camping alone, which is 3.3. And then there's another one that's -34 winter camping alone with a hot tent, the 65,000, but it's the front view of the video. The reason why I suspect that one didn't do as well is because I had taken basically in that video, the -34 video, I think it's like a 12 and a half minute video. And in that video, I had made this like Siberian fire torch and I had cooked food within that fire log. And I tried to initiate a bushcraft challenge where leading up to the holiday season, I was basically encouraging people to go out and do some bushcraft style videos with some unique cooking videos and, you know, tag me in it. Then I'll have a look at the videos and pick which one I like the best. And then I would invite that person onto a live stream and we can kind of talk a little bit about bushcraft. So what I had done was I had stripped down that video. I think that one is maybe like 6 minutes. Yeah, it's a 6-minute video. And essentially what I'd done was I just chopped the video up and I took that whole fire torch log scene. And I basically recycled the content and put it into a compressed version as my unique fire method. And I think what happened was that the algorithm probably picked up the same sequence of videos because they do content ID matching. And they've probably seen that. And then they just said, you know, I'm not going to push that one out into the algorithm or recommend it to people because it's basically just recycled content.
Wait, I'm looking for that one now through your channel. Which one is it?
So there's one that was posted on the...
Is this one like a month ago? Winter camping in a hot cast iron tent, 60,000 views.
65,000 views. Yeah. So there's one that's -34 alone winter camping in a hot tent, and then I think it's called like Siberian fire torch.
Okay.
So that's basically the device that I had built in the previous video. I had chopped that up into a shorter video and posted that one, and that was for someone, and that was for like a bushcraft challenge.
Interesting. And here, and the video just before that, the -40F winter camping, where you and I forget her name. Is it Val?
Vivian.
Vivian, yeah.
Vivian. A good thumbnail of you and Vivian, and it only got 75,000 views.
Yeah, it was just that was a low audience retention video.
Okay.
Oh.
I felt like there's a fine balance between what I'm learning is there's a fine balance between creating content that's a high action video as opposed to more of just sit back and talking.
Thanks, Bettina. I found it.
So my impression on that was if I look at it objectively, I think what happened was that previously I had put out those 2 big videos that had like 8 million views or 9 million views between the 2 of them within the 2 weeks leading up to shooting that video. So those 2 videos I posted were just silent videos of just me out in the bush with my tripod and just capturing creative shots and doing more bushcraft silent style video production. And I had a lot of subscribers. I mean, I might have had 10,000 subscribers subscribed from those videos each. So I probably gained 20,000 subscribers from those 2 videos.
Wow.
And then I go right into a video that's like a 30-minute dialogue with me standing up in my tent in the corner with 1 shot, just talking about cold weather clothing. Okay. So I think, people, you subscribe to a channel, you watch 1 video, you kind of paint a picture of what you think this channel is about. Then all of a sudden you see another thumbnail, you click it and you're like, what the hell is this? This isn't what I subscribed to. Right. So the audience retention really dropped off and tanked on that video. And I think the algorithm, I just didn't get the impressions that I had on those other videos.
It's audience retention is really interesting. If I put out a video or ask a question, what do you like about my videos? And I'll get, oh, I love the dogs, I love the cooking, I love the hiking, I love the cabin work, I love this, I love that, and I'm like, oh God, all this stuff is great. I can do videos of all that. But you look at your audience retention and it tells a different story. It's like, the graph is like, oh, you're doing this and now you're hiking. Like, boom. Right. I'm like, really? Hiking I thought was really good. It's like, everything that people say and set it aside and then look at the audience retention and go, oh. Okay.
Yeah, what I've figured is that I should probably speak a little less in my videos. Like I get into chatting to the camera and I should shut that not all the way down, but a lot more. Because if someone is watching one of my axe review videos, while I'm axing and stuff and just sort of, well, it's good, it's got a good edge, blah, 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 it's great. But if I talk for too long, the retention starts to drop off.
Here's the thing,
I'm just not that interesting, I guess.
Here's the thing though, like you can do a video if you like non-talky bits where your constant scene changes are one thing, but the talky and it's hard to fill up a video of that because it takes forever. It takes forever. But the talky bits, like you can eat up 3 or 4 minutes of time just to talking and you get a much longer video. It's great. Yep. But people don't want to hear you talking.
Nope.
So there's a relationship between your click-through rate and your audience retention that I think is an important metric for how the algorithm views the quality of your video. So if you have a very high click-through rate, that means your thumbnail is a very attractive thumbnail. A lot of people click it, but after they click it, the audience retention drops off quickly. Then the algorithm will interpret that as kind of a clickbait video, whereas the thumbnail didn't match the content of the video.
Yeah.
So it's having a good thumbnail with a good click-through rate and a good audience retention. And if you can kind of match those 2 metrics together, I think that's when the algorithm will give you more impressions. The more impressions you have, then the more eyes on your product, and then the more potential clicks that you get.
Right. Right. Very interesting. Yeah, I got to work on some techniques for getting my numbers up. That's for sure.
I think a hook is important right from the beginning. If you can put something, so if you create your video, find something within that video that's like a pretty cool feature of the video or kind of like the climax of the video. And at the opening scene, just show like a 3 to 5 second clip of that and just, refer to it as in, like later in the video.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. Then they're going to scrub through the video most likely and try to find that clip. And then they'll go, and if they find it interesting, then they'll go back and they'll watch the build up to that clip.
Okay.
That's a little trick that I I've been doing, and I noticed that on my more successful videos, that seems to be working.
It's good to know. I'll try that for on a couple of videos upcoming. See if it helps. And if it does, I'll just go back and recut all my videos. All of them. Put them up again. Such and such, repost. Such and such, repost.
Right.
Every now and again, I watch an old video of mine and think, yeah, that should have been better. I've recut a couple of them and put them up as reposts. I don't do that very often because I find that's kind of a cheesy way to increase the amount of your content. But like when I watch one and I'm really bugged by how long it was, I'll recut it.
Yeah.
I'll just cut out all the chaff. Try to leave the wheat there, you know.
But like in all fairness, like I think for creators who repost or recycle their content, I think it's a valid strategy because as we grow as as we grow as creators, our audience grows and we lose subscribers that were once subscribed, and then as we grow as individuals and our content changes, our audience changes with that. So to take an old video and repost it, I think is a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah, I did one where we were camping up in the Boreal out near Saguenay, and I rewatched it and it was too long, and there were like spots where I kind of wanted to drop off. So I was like, no, I'm recutting this and I'm going to put it back up, and I put it up like repost, in brackets to be really obvious. And I liked it better. As time goes on and I do this more, my approach changes and stuff. The video I have going up on Friday is my first time using two cameras, like a two camera shoot.
Yeah.
Like there's a way to make a two camera shoot pretty damn seamless in Final Cut Pro that I had no idea about. And so I went to bed that night having learned my editing app better, and that kind of excited me about what the possibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's interesting because all of those scenes that I do in those like multi-shot videos, they're all in my tripod. Or sorry, it's my iPhone 10 on my tripod, and I'll think of I will look at each scene as a 5-shot sequence. And then I position the cameras in 5 different positions. And then I'll come back and I'll make it look seamless from just, basically just like trimming in between. So if I know that I'm reaching to the left to pick up some birch bark, for an example, you'll see me reaching to the left, and then I'll stop and then I'll go back. I'll get my tripod. I'll move it to the different shot. I'll frame it, and then I'll go back and I'll recreate that sequence and move my hand to pick up the birch bark. And then I move it back to the position, and I'll go move my tripod again to a different position.
Yeah. And it's funny that I'm glad to hear you say that, because I have used the exact same technique for my my bushcraft cocktail videos. Right. I'd be like, hey there, blah, 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 and I like, let's pour this booze. And I get to the glass and I stop and I put it down and I go and I bring the phone or the camera closer and get a close up and pour it, and then it's exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
But yeah, this Friday's video, I finally just used two cameras, and
Dave,
so much faster to edit.
Yeah,
I do the same thing, but I wouldn't use 5 shots for the same thing. I might use a couple.
Right.
I mean, you can overdo it, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh my God, yes, 100%. I mean, I won't use all of those 5 shots. I'll just kind of play around with them and see what I like the best, and pick maybe 2 or 3 out of those 5 shots.
Yeah. I noticed that it is now 10 past 11, so we were done like 10 minutes ago. But I was very interested. This is a conversation. This is where I start to find the information fascinating, because I love finding out about how other YouTubers are, how they're going through their process. I really, really like that. But it is getting late for everyone involved. So we're going to shut it down for the week. And I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks to Russell and Dave for coming on. Thanks to Mallory, who has gone to sleep. I hope that she gets better soon. So yes, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, guys.
Good night.